you. But this time I'm like,
You know me. Don't be nervous.
I know, but it's not the same. Okay. All right, so I'll start off. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a very exciting episode of Bike Club. This season, we're taking it to the next level and getting more guests out onto our podcast. And today's guest is someone who is very close to both Beth and I because we've worked with her from at work, obviously, where else? And she's been a mentor to me for the past couple of weeks. She has had a wonderful journey, which is what we're excited to dive into with today's episode. So, everybody, welcome Charlotte.
Hi, Charlotte.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I feel very honored.
Thank you for taking out the time.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Oh, and I think I should have probably mentioned at the intro, this is also someone whose wardrobe we have wanted to have since day one.
That makes me laugh so much.
We have vied on that anytime.
Yeah, corporate wardrobe goals.
Oh
Yeah,
God.
Corporate wardrobe goals. Yes.
You don't realize
a mentor,
how old,
a legend.
how old most of those clothes are in there. So that's hilarious. Love it. Thank you.
So Charlotte, we have a tradition where we ask our guests to bring a rule onto our podcast, our rules of Bike Club, and we believe you have one. So would you like to share your rule?
I do have a rule, and it's push yourself out of your comfort zone in all aspects of life, but mainly work.
Okay, yeah. That is something I think Beth and I have learned for the past 1 year. But that's totally, I get why you would tell us to do that, because this is something that I feel like you have communicated in some way or the other whenever we've had a chat.
Yeah.
Is there like a personal experience why you would think stepping out of the comfort zone was important to you?
I think if I didn't, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Makes sense, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Char. That's a great new rule to our list of existing ones. We have a couple of questions planned for you, but we're going to keep it nice and casual.
Okay.
So I know that when we asked you to do this podcast, you kind of gave us a little bit of an intro to your tech life and your journey so far in this corporate world and the corporate ladder. I know that you've had your days from an intern back in the UK and all the way now to account executive at Microsoft, both with Microsoft. From your words, could you take us through your journey all the way from the UK to now in Australia?
Yeah, absolutely. So if I take it all the way back to uni days, so I did a degree in computer science back in the UK, and probably was one of 3 girls in the room at the time. I think it's a bit different now, but I'm sure there's still a massive kind of tendency for that to be majorly male dominated. The really amazing piece about that course was the fact that there was a intern year opportunity, and it's a whole year. So you do 2 years of your course, then you do an intern year, and then you go back and do your final year.
Cool.
Yeah, so I applied for the Microsoft internship. I got on really well with one of the managers there and was lucky enough to get a job within Microsoft UK, which is located in Reading. Now, I was...
So that was your first internship? Sorry?
My first internship. Now, it was a year long, and I think they extended it a bit, so it was actually probably officially 16 or 17 months long.
Wow.
And it was not your typical internship. I was thrown in the deep end. I was basically put into a team of support engineers, and they're not your kind of first line engineers. They were more like your second and third line engineers, so escalation engineers, really, really senior. And I was thrown into that role and basically told, you're going to be a support engineer and you're going to be taking real life support cases within a month. And I'm like, no, that's not happening. And it wasn't for anything like any modern workplace kind of technology. It wasn't for Windows. It wasn't for anything like that, it was for Dynamics. And it was for Dynamics ERP, which is the enterprise resource planning software called AX back in the day. Now that is complex. That is a whole stack. That's business applications. So you think like you needed IIS, you needed all sorts of things to, like the SQL Server, Windows Server, certificates. You needed all sorts of things to make the application work. And anyway, I was thrown into this, and it's like, no way am I going to be taking support cases. But yeah, I was, and I was pretty much part of the team. Treated like anyone else. Wasn't treated like an intern. I wasn't treated like, you know, you go and get coffees or
the new girl.
Do like this.
Yeah.
No, and it was probably like if I look back on it, one of the most amazing parts of my career. Like, you know, I've had some amazing mentors. I still talk to a lot of them today. I got invited to their weddings. You know, a lot of them, as people do, have moved to different parts of the world, and I still talk to them. Like, they're amazing. So I did that for a year or 18 months. Went back to university, finished my degree really quickly. Because to be honest, at that point, I was like, I feel like my degree not was useless. Like, it was good because it gave me the backbone, but I really enjoyed just getting into work.
And you had the industry exposure already.
And I felt a lot of it was so outdated. What I was learning at the time anyway. And it would have been different to what you guys would learn nowadays. But yeah, anyway, so I came back. I applied for the graduate scheme within Microsoft. So there's the intern and then the graduate. I applied for the graduate. I actually didn't get it, the graduate program. I don't know. I think it was because they were looking for people at the time that could fit like the sales mold or the marketing mold, and I wasn't that at the time. But my manager that I had when I was in the internship said, look, do you want to come back? And here's the offer. And I'm like, oh, that's good. I mean, it was like literally peanuts. Like, if you look at, compared to what, you know, I know our grads are on today, it was nothing like that. It was such a small pay. But I was like, yes, of course. Like, I'm coming back. And I think I stayed in that role for another 2 years, loved it, got really good reviews, kept progressing, had really amazing mentorship. Honestly, it was like the best few years of my life. Like, I really, really enjoyed it. And I will always look back on that with kind of like a smile on my face, because they were like a family in a way. It was like a family, and everyone came into the office every day. It was very different. And then I'm always kind of thinking about, okay, what's next? And I had the opportunity in that role to do a few stretch tasks, and that was helping out what they called the Premier Field Engineers. And the Premier Field Engineers are kind of on site for week engagements, or we used to call them gigs. And sometimes they didn't have enough resources to fulfill the requests. So I sometimes stepped in, and they were like, hey, Charlotte, in your current role, do you mind kind of, you know, can you go and help deliver this workshop? It's a 2-day workshop here. So I did it. And I was like, yep, I'll go for that. And then I realized I quite enjoyed doing that. So I applied for this role called the Premier Field Engineer for Dynamics AX. So that's again, it's the same software. It's a business application. But the Premier Field Engineer role meant that I had to be on site every week at a different client. And I was like, that's so exciting. You know, I think I was only 23. Wow. So I went for it. I got the job. I was very lucky that I was applying for the job with someone I knew, and I already knew the team really well. Like, I wasn't a complete stranger to them all. And I got the job. And then, wow, that was definitely being pushed out my comfort zone, which I'll talk about in a bit. But like, different countries every week, France, Germany, Iceland, Qatar, you name it, like literally you name it. Iceland, didn't do too much in England until the end, which was weird. Because
that was the home ground,
my team was like an EMEA-based team, so everyone was based in different locations, and we had a really, really good collaboration. We spoke all the time. We had a WhatsApp chat, which I created, because I think collaboration is really key. Like, to feel, if you're isolated from a team, which I was often, you still want to feel connected. So I liked it, like that we had this WhatsApp chat where we had a bit of banter on, like, oh, this is where I'm flying to today, and the others would be like, this is where I'm flying to, or I'm coming to France, are you here? So we had that collaboration. So that was really, really like an amazing part of my career. Like I learned so much. I got to meet the most random people. Can't even explain. Like I can't. The French were probably the most distant. They wouldn't talk to you at lunch, but then actually they were really friendly.
You'd have gotten to experience different cultures that way as well then.
Massively. I mean, I think Qatar was an odd one. Like for me, that was, you're a woman, you're coming into the IT workspace in a country where women are not working as much.
Out in the workspace. Yep.
And then there's me turning up and I'm like, right, I've got to make sure that, I'm not wearing any like short dresses. I've got to be really conservative, but actually it was totally fine. And that was interesting. Like, you don't get up and go and get water or a coffee, because the minute you get up, someone comes over and went, what would you like? Like, what do you mean? They're like, oh, we'll get you, would you want a coffee? Are you hungry? And I'm like, oh, I just wanted to get up. But they were like, no, they had someone to do something for you. So like the stories I can tell you, it was wild. I think I did that for nearly 2 years, 2.5. 2.5 probably. And it was getting a bit much, the flying. Like it took a lot of your weekend as well. So
you can imagine it's pretty like full time.
Yeah, because sometimes you needed to be at a customer site like 9:30 a.m. on a Monday. Now flying from the UK, which was 1 hour back from on the time zone from most of the European countries, and sometimes 2, it's not going to work if you fly in the morning. Like it's just not. So a lot of time you flew on Sunday night. It did mean your Fridays were a bit more relaxed. Like I would probably only work half a day on Friday in the office, and then I'd drive back to my parents or something, or but it did mean that you were sacrificing a lot of your personal life as well. Like you didn't have the evenings with your friends because you were in some random country, in some random hotel, eating some random food. But I wouldn't go, right, I don't regret that, because for me that was part of the journey, it was part of the experience, and now I've got that, whereas I feel like nowadays I would not do that, because I'm not in the part of stage of my life where I could possibly even do that. So it was great. And a lot of my team were kind of dads, husbands, and their wives are at home with their kids, but I couldn't I wouldn't be able to do that right now. So anyway, I got kind of fed up with the travel and wanted a bit of my life back. So I just started looking about what's next. And I'd been to Australia before, quite a few times, and one of my best friends had just moved out here. And I remember just on a Sunday morning, I was just looking on the job site, Microsoft internal job site. So there's a role that's come up in Microsoft Australia, and it's called a technical account manager. And I knew what they did because I worked with them massively in the UK when you're and that role is essentially looking after customers from a reactive and proactive point of view. You've got to basically make sure that they're using the technology and the technology is working.
Right.
And they're not going to have any kind of outages and things like that. So I applied for it. I got told straight away that, well, no, we won't consider you because we're not going to pay relocation. Relocation is when you move, but they give you, say, 20 grand to come over. They pay for your flights. They pay for a hotel for 3-4 weeks. They pay for your food while you find a place. And I just responded, I don't care. Don't worry. I don't need relocation. I will just fly. I'll buy my own flights, and I'll just get an Airbnb when I get there. It's fine. Don't worry. I just said, just interview me. Please interview me.
Wow.
And
please interview me.
Yeah, I did. I remember I was like, please consider me. Please interview me. And I think it was quite late in the game, and they already had someone else who was a current temporary employee they were going to make permanent. but they did interview me, and I did get interviewed at some ridiculous time in the morning. I think it was like 3 a.m. And I was in a random hotel doing my random job as a PFE, having an interview for a job in Australia. Anyway,
Australia's, yeah.
Yeah, and I got on really well with them. I felt like I feel you can feel the vibe in an interview. I think you can tell straight away. And I got on really well with them. And then I got told, yes, you got it. And I was like, oh my God. The only thing was the visa. So they said, look, we'll sponsor you with the visa. We just need to get through that. And that all happened really quickly. And before you knew it, I was moving out of my place in Reading. I was putting it up for rent because I owned it. And I was finding tenants, and I was packing a bag. My current manager wasn't very happy with me because we had a really good relationship. It was probably blurred. There was blurred lines. Like, it was a really personal relationship between her and I. Like, she saw herself as a mother figure. I looked up to her a lot. I still do. And I think she took it personally. And that was hard, actually, because at that point, our relationship it wasn't great when I left, because I think she was really upset that I was leaving. She felt that I'd left her kind of in the lurch because she didn't have anyone to fill the gap. And she was also upset that I was going, on a personal note. But anyway, put that aside. So moved over to Australia with 2 suitcases. That's it. I ended the job at Microsoft UK on the Friday. You get company cars in the UK. It's quite nice.
Yeah.
I dropped my company car off, which was only like 3 months old. It's brand new. Dropped it off at the Microsoft office, got a train home. I had no mobile phone because my mobile phone had always been a Microsoft
The company.
one. The company one. So I got on this train with nothing. Like, I was like, I have no laptop, I have no car, I have no phone. I got the train home to my parents' house. I finished packing, and I got the flight the next day to Australia. And I was starting work on the Monday morning. So
and you would have shifted 1 day in time as well. Like, you would have lost a day in the travel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and there's like jet lag and all of that. Like, I had this random Airbnb that I was staying in the North Ryde. It was North Ryde office at the time.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really nervous. I just kind of was like, oh, this is going to be fun. Like, I'll meet new people. And everyone, so I got to the office. Everyone was really lovely. Again, it was the times when most people were in the office. The team were 50-50 really young, 50-50 kind of my age and 50-50 older at the time. So it was really great. Like, instantly felt welcome. Everyone was so lovely. So did that role for a few years. Really enjoyed that. Again, like, that role had a slight sales target on it. So not only are you looking after your customers, you've also got to renew them, like renew the contracts, and you've got to grow the contracts, and you've also got to contribute to Azure consumption, which I kind of did naturally, because for me, one of my things is relationships. Like, with customers, it's all about relationships. I'm not one of those like traditional used car salesman. I'm not going to push anything in your face. You're going to buy it because you want to. And I'm going to tell you the reasons why, but it's all going to be on a relationship base. So anyway, that kind of naturally kind of fell into place. I enjoyed the role. I got to understand the Australian industry as well, like Australian landscape, because, I didn't know that. I didn't know what BHP was. I didn't know much about the different companies. If you spoke about just Dimmock's books, for example, I would be like, what? Like, what's that? Because I don't know the brands within Australia. But I got to know everything within those 3 years. And that's when I met my current boss, Matt Clarkin. Shout out to him, who's always been an awesome mentor throughout the years. And he is, this excellent sales guy who I met, and he found out that I had a Dynamics background, and he was like, oh, can I borrow you for kind of some work to help close a deal? And I'm like, sure. And I came down to Victoria with him, and it was actually for the VRC, so Victoria Racing Club, and we helped helped him close a deal just because I knew a bit about dynamics.
Wow.
So again, like that at that time I was kind of building my sales muscle. I was helping another colleague called Kinga, shout out to her as well, who's an awesome friend, an awesome mentor, who we kind of became like a duo. Like her role was officially what you call a account delivery exec, and that's essentially making sure the consulting is kind of what I do now, basically. But I worked with her on things that was nothing at all to do with my job, but I like doing it. And it was building kind of my sales and account management muscle. Anyway, then I really enjoyed that, but I was like, what's next? How can I, because I felt like I was doing a lot of the sales stuff, but I wasn't getting compensated for it as a seller, which is really important. Like if you're going to do that kind of stuff, you should probably get paid for it and probably be on the right, what they call plan. And there's different kind of compensation plans. So I ended up moving across to a dynamic seller, and luckily enough Matt Clarkin was the manager, so it was a pretty easy move to move across, and I worked for him for a few years, and that was a really interesting role, basically selling licenses for Dynamics, which they renamed business applications, and I knew a lot about, so it was kind of natural, to be honest. And that was great. The team was growing, and that was when I had my 2 children. So within that kind of time period, I had 2 kids, and I had maternity leave with Microsoft. And then I came back from maternity leave, and I had a chat with Matt Clarkin again, and he was like, "Oh, how do you feel about joining Data Addiction?" Like, well, hadn't even thought about leaving Microsoft. I've been here for 13 years. It's like my home. Like, no way. I'm not leaving. Are you mad? I just had 2 kids. Like, no way. Anyway, had another chat with him over a wine. And he was kind of saying, look, it's good experience. You're not going to get that experience in Microsoft. And he was true. It was true. Completely true. So I thought about it, and then I took up the offer to come and work for Data Addiction as an account manager. But it's been many things, right? That role, and I know you wear many hats within Data Addiction because it's small. So not only that, I was instantly part of the leadership team, doing all sorts of stuff, doing legal contracts, working on escalations, making sure delivery was going okay, like everything. And it was full on, but the amount I learned, I wouldn't have been able to be at the current role that I'm just about to start. I wouldn't have got that if I hadn't done this.
So true. So, we do. Yeah. We feel the same for that.
Yeah. So I think you have to sometimes go kind of dip or go sideways and to kind of go upwards. So to be able to get the experience, because you can't always rely on being on one company and just to climb a ladder. You've kind of got to go zigzaggy. And like it's been amazing, but it's just, for me, it was time to try something different. I wasn't searching, but something popped up on LinkedIn. I'm always scrolling on LinkedIn, by the way, just interested to see what's happening in the market.
Yep.
Always. And something popped up. One of my old managers shared a link for a job, and I was like, oh, that looks good. Well, I could do that with my eyes closed. Like, in a way, I would really, really like, not necessarily with my eyes closed, it's not going to be easy, but I got I felt like I had all the skills to be able to do it, because it's something I can relate to the job. And from a leadership point of view, I think I can add value there. So that's where I'm going next. Super excited, and it's a bit of a random journey, like from tech to kind of account management to sales to escalation management to manager. So it's like, yeah, it's really random, but it's kind of a zigzag path, I think. It's not your
Yeah, I think
typical.
it just, yeah, for sure. It definitely goes to say that there's never just one path, which I think Beth spoke about a couple episodes earlier as well. There's not just like that one defined way to success. So that's, yeah, it's amazing. So I know that you've basically witnessed Microsoft in its early ages, especially with Dynamics. Dynamics today, we know how it is. And we also know Microsoft today with OpenAI, enabled with AI, how it is. So you've obviously witnessed firsthand the technology transition from what it was to where it is now. How does that feel for you? Like how did that shift the way that you work?
Yeah, really good question. So I can get a lot more done, a lot quicker. So if I think back to the days when I was in the dynamic support team, we would literally have to rebuild someone's environment. So now you're in the cloud, you just get their subscription ID and the backend team look at it.
Yes.
I would have to reproduce the environment. So essentially, one customer even sent their database on a USB and got it shipped to Microsoft Reading. You had to rebuild everything. It takes a lot of time to get to where you need to be. So definitely in terms of where I see things now from then, I think it's a lot quicker. You can get things done a lot quicker. You've got, Copilot to help you send your emails. Probably something you don't know, actually. I don't think any of you know this. Both of you don't know this. I'm dyslexic, quite severely dyslexic. And
you never know.
You wouldn't.
Could not tell.
Yeah, so actually the one person that picked it up was Ben. He picked it up once and he's like, what's going on here? And I'm like, I can explain that. So, for me, what has helped me is, Copilot has definitely helped me with all things dyslexia, spell check, obviously. But yeah, it's that's been an amazing thing for me to be able to help on my day to day. And what else, in terms of what else have I witnessed? I think it's just like now the collaboration is different. Actually, I think in a way it's not as good as it used to be. And that's something everyone needs to work on. I used to love coming in the office most days, and it's not even possible. I feel like it's not possible nowadays, but there was a lot more collaboration. There was more of a team than an I. And I think that needs to improve. I'm not sure I know the answer yet, but I'm going to work on it with my new team because they're all remote as well. So that's something that's definitely changed, is you can work from anywhere. The technology enables that, so it enables people to have better work-life balance. But then sometimes the collaboration slips. So how can we get that balance? I would love to know. Yeah, so I know that we have
popular
a lot of
debate topic now.
Yeah. I know we have like the drop-in learn sessions and things like that, but how else can we do that? And one of the things that I was keen on with my old role was having the WhatsApps, and that was kind of, it turned, in a way, it made everyone see the personal side of everyone. So it'd be like, oh, look where I am today. I'm at this random winery, and they take a photo, and it was, and then it just grew and grew and grew. So I think, that's really important for me, is kind of the collaboration side. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Do you want to take it away with the next one? Sorry.
So you said fairly early in your career you were kind of leading and presenting it to big rooms of people, I presume, largely men.
Yes.
How did you find that, and were there any moments that like really helped you build your confidence? How'd that go for you?
Yeah, okay, so there's one that stands out to me. It was in Madrid, and I was I think it was a two-day workshop, and it was in the Madrid office, and it was about 20 people attending. Now luckily I had all the kind of transcript. They have a lot of IP, so if you get stuck, you kind of just go, oh, what am I meant to say next? But it's like a lot of hands-on labs and things like that. But it is very intimidating. Like, you're walking in, there's 20, 40 something men that and they're all kind of staring at you, and they're there to learn. They've taken time out of their day. But you've got to remember, you're the expert. And it doesn't matter about age, but you are the expert. You know more than they do. Even if they can't take away one thing that they didn't know, and I guarantee they will, because all the information that you have, they do not have, because it's Microsoft's IP. So you've got to remember that you are the expert. Age doesn't matter, and neither does gender. And I think for me, the way I tried not to think about it too much, tried not to get too nervous. Of course, I got nervous, but I tried not to think about it too much. And I'd also make, if I was going to a new place, and often these things started on Mondays or Tuesdays, something like that. Actually, it's more a Tuesday. You have Monday as your setup day. So you make sure you get there and you make sure you're prepared. So you make sure you have all the printouts. You make sure you're not doing that all on the same day. So you make sure you're prepared. And you also chuck in some fun. So if I was going, like, for example, Madrid's one of my favorite cities, and I would go there on a Sunday morning, so I'd have the Sunday day to kind of go and explore, and that would kind of get the nervous energy out of me. So I would then kind of be like, right, okay, let's just hit this. So yeah, of course, there was times where it was difficult and I was nervous and they asked me questions I don't know, but I would just take them back and go, oh, let me find out. And I'd ping my team and I'll come back 5 minutes later and go, oh, I know the answer now. So just, it doesn't matter about age. It doesn't matter about gender. It matters about the knowledge that you hold that they do not. And even if it's on a piece of paper and it's not necessarily in front of you, but just remember that they don't have that. So, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, valid points to take through as someone that personally is still battling with imposter syndrome. This is very useful pieces.
And I think you always get nervous when you go somewhere new and but you also got to remember that everyone's human at the end of the day. Everyone is human. And if you try and get that human side from them and have a personal conversation first, where are you from? Just really simple questions and kind of break them barriers. Then it's a lot smoother, because even with my clients now, I try to have a really personal kind of relationship apart from, I won't name names, but there's a few that obviously you can't just because of their personalities, but Shayna knows who I'm talking about. But yeah, most of the time you need to kind of break that personal boundary and get some kind of personal connection, and then you can start working on the rest.
Yeah, sounds good. Mentorship is obviously a very huge thing to you, and it played a very significant role throughout your journey. I know, like, even from your intern days to now. Given that the tech space is still, we do have offices where it is encouraging for more women to be there, but it is very hard to come across older women as mentor or just, significant mentor figures within the office workspace. So how do you suggest, or what would be your pieces of advice to seek out mentorship in the way that you go about? Yeah.
Okay, so I wouldn't stay within your particular workspace if you can't if you can't find a mentor within your workplace, and then that's okay. There's many other events. There's women in IT events that you can attend. I can put you in touch with people. It's kind of word of mouth as well. Just get those mentors from other walks of life as well. So it doesn't have to be, within the current company you're in. It can be others. So go to those women in IT breakfasts. Go to whatever you can see. Just keep an eye out on LinkedIn, on the event websites, on what's going on, and network, and add them on LinkedIn, send them a message, and say, hey, if you saw someone speak and it really kind of gelled to you, then message them and say, hey, would you mind mentoring me? And most of the time people say yes. So yeah, definitely that would be my advice.
Yeah, and you're putting up your hand for many women to reach out to you after this episode gets out as well. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Okay.
We'll link in your LinkedIn, because I highly recommend it, because I know I'm going to be reaching out for sure.
Yes, well, definitely. Like, it's, I think I had really key female mentors when I was kind of in my 20s, and I can't thank them enough, to be honest, for the guidance they gave me, the inspiration as well. It's not just the guidance, it's the inspiration. It's the seeing, oh, this is what I could do. So yeah, it's definitely that.
Cool. Yeah.
So am I asking question 3, Akshaya?
I think maybe because you kind of did explain moving across continents.
Oh, yeah, I did. Yep.
Yeah, so I don't think it might just feel redundant. So maybe we can just skip to the next one.
I'll go ahead.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So there's always a big discussion for women in the workplace around having kids and what that journey can look like. How did that decision-making process look for you? How do you navigate that at the moment?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Okay, so I'm going to start with, it's not always a decision. Okay, so wasn't a decision for me. It happened, and I wanted it to happen. We weren't sat down and we didn't go, the pros and cons of having kids or not. Like, we spoke about it, but not completely seriously, and it happened. It was our time. It was meant to be. I don't believe having kids is a showstopper for your career at all. So just to put this into perspective, I don't have any help. I have no family here. I have no, I have friends, but they're all in the same scenario. We are all in the same scenario. So I did start by, when I had my second child, working 4 days a week, but in all honesty, I think that's harder, because I think that you end up kind of squeezing 5 days into 4. As much as I absolutely loved my Fridays and I kept those completely work free, I found the 4 days incredibly hard. So look, it is a juggle. Your life just gets a lot busier. And I mean a lot busier. Like, there's no longer these leisurely lunches at, you work through the lunches so you can go home and get your kids, and then you're not, you might finish at 4 and there's still some work to do, but the time from when I pick up my kids to when I put them to bed is their time. So, and then I will maybe send some emails later on in the night once I'm ready to, but I do that in my own time, like when I want to, and that's just so I can fit everything in. But there's a lot of flexible workplaces now that allow this, and if it is something that someone is looking to do in the future with having children, I would definitely recommend a workplace that has flexible working, allows some working from home, because yes, it is possible. You can go into the office and you still can pick up your kids, because reality, the daycare shuts at 6 o'clock. You just have to be ready to pay a mortgage for kids to go to daycare. That's another so yes, you definitely can do it, and you just don't have as much time for you anymore, but you still need to prioritize that, because it is important, but that just might look different. For me, I like to have this is really funny, but I like my relaxation is once the kids are in bed, is to put some music on and kind of tidy the house, reset the house, and then I might sit down and do some email. But also exercise is really important to me, so I'm not very good at in the evening, but in the morning that helps. So yeah, look, I navigate it. Sometimes it's very messy and there's complete juggle, like especially when they're sick. And it always happens when something important is about to happen. I can tell you the last webinar I did, my youngest was sick. I had to call my friend round to go and take her while I did the webinar. Not only did the webinar that happen, but my computer blue screen, so I ended up having to do the webinar from my phone.
Oh no.
Bad news really does love company.
Yeah. So the funny thing is you just do it, and I think women are really good at just being able to juggle, taking whatever is thrown at them. That day was, if my husband had been dealt those cards on that day, he would have just had a meltdown. But he got home, he was like, "How was your day?" I was like, "Yeah, it was good."
So true.
Yeah. you know, I
Yeah.
think women, I probably won't get him to listen to this now.
We can edit out some part.
No, but I mean, like, if you know, some women are very good at juggling and managing the unknown, and that's what it is. It's the unknown. I don't know. Like, I'm starting my new job on the 5th of May. I guarantee you, my child is sick on the 5th of May, just because.
Yeah. That's how it always works.
Like, that's how it is.
And you just deal with it. Like, you call your babysitters, you work it out. It's difficult, but you just deal with it. There's no other way of doing it. And like, it's really, really rewarding. It's rewarding to be able to say, like, I've maintained a career and I've brought up 2 kids and a puppy, by the way. So yeah, like, advice to anyone: don't overthink it. If you think it's something you want to do, go for it. But just find a company that does pay maternity leave. And also another thing, and I don't know if a lot of you know this, but a lot of companies are starting to do paternity leave as well for the males. Yes. So, which is awesome. So it means you can tag team. So the woman can do the first 4 months and the man can do the following 4 months, something like that. And then I think that's such an amazing initiative for the families. So yeah.
That's awesome. A very valid point. Sorry, yeah.
Can make such a difference.
Changing the ways. Yeah, it's changing the way that we even like apply for jobs or the kind of jobs that we apply for. And this was a conversation I had with a colleague as well. Like, now you have priorities changed all over the place.
100%. You would only like apply them where the benefits kind of, you know, align to what you're looking to do with your life. You know, like, if being a parent is, then you've got to look for a job where, you know, there's support there. And
yeah, awesome. It sounds like as well having those really clear boundaries are really important in terms of having that, what, you know, when you pick your kids up and then till they go to bed, that's like dedicated them time. And that sounds like a really good advice for life in general, in terms of if you're juggling lots of stuff, having those boundaries allows you to keep it kind of manageable.
Definitely. And like, I choose to, and for me also, like, working straight till 5:30, I just can't. My brain goes no more. So for me, and you know, there's obviously days when you need to, because you've got late calls or things like that, there's escalations going on. But for me to be productive, I'm probably best to stop around 3:30 and log on later, because my brain needs a break. And I think, you know, and then I get some of my best work done, and like some of my best proposals are done sat on the sofa at 10 p.m. watching something on the background on TV, because I'm relaxed. It just depends on your workplace, if they're supportive of that kind of work environment.
Very true.
What is something that you wish more people knew about women in tech roles like yours?
I think don't compare yourself to the people in the room, because you are there, because you have the expertise. You know, you have as much knowledge as the others in the room. So don't compare yourself to the males or the older people in the room. You are there because you are worthy to be there. So
love that.
Yeah, valid, and I think a solid reminder.
What else? So yes. Wish you knew more. I think don't kind of keep yourself within the boundaries of pure technical roles. Step outside and see if there's any other things you like that are still in the tech space. But you know, there is so many other roles that you can do within the tech industry that may be really beneficial. So my kind of advice is kind of sidestep sometimes, go and try something that you think, oh, maybe I could do that. You know, so yeah, stepping outside your comfort zone and trying a role that is you think you might like and you might end up loving, and you know, you never knew you could do. Like, and you know, from my point of view, both of you have amazing communication skills. You're really personable. I could see you easily doing any of the roles I've done. So
it's very kind.
You know,
it's so too nice. Thanks, Char.
But that's part of it, right? It's having the communication and being personable is super important.
Oh, thanks, Char. Yeah, that's a very valid point.
And the
Um,
last one, there was one more, right?
oh,
I
yeah.
think,
Go for it.
so I said, I think, I've mentioned this as well. It's always think about your next move. Always think about what's next. And don't be afraid to share that with someone within your company or within a mentor. Not necessarily, it doesn't always have to be your line manager or anything like that, but they can help you grow into what you want to do next. So I've always been quite open with what I want to do with either mentors or what not. It doesn't have to, you don't have to say, look, I'm looking to do this in the next month. You say, in the next 2 years, this is where I want to be, and people will help you get there. So yeah, always think about your next move, not how am I going to get to a senior, or how am I going to get to this. Think about outside.
That's really helpful.
Yeah, good things to think about after this.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thanks, Shah. I think the last question that we have for you today, probably, taking it back from, once again, like your intern days or even your early days, a successful day might have looked like getting a workshop done and dusted, or getting a piece of bug fixed, or even account management would have just been closing the deal. But as you go forward, what is a particular win that makes you go, yeah, like this is it, like I've done it? Yeah, what does success look to you right now?
So that's a really good question, and that's all true to all my kind of past roles. But I think for me, it's seeing others succeed and grow, and it's people and customers. So the impact in terms of what have we brought to that client. So many of the clients I've worked with, I love to hear about what they've achieved with what we've done. I think that for me is like, yes, that's what I set out to do. And seeing others grow. I'm about to go into a people management role. I really want to help some of those early in career, kind of, help them in their first kind of years of their career, and then help some of the others that are more senior kind of get to where they want to get to. So for me, it's seeing people succeed and grow. I think that's what will make me go. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. That was, you were like so prepared, very natural.
That's my life.
Thank you, Shah. Beth, if you want to wrap it up.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, thank you so much, Charlotte. We will link Charlotte's LinkedIn so you can reach out to her if anything resonated with you from this week. And we'll be sharing things on socials. And that's all for today. You can find us on Instagram, send us an email if you have any questions or suggestions. And we'll chat to you next time.
Thanks so much. It's been really fun.
Thanks,
Thank
Charlotte.
you, Charlotte.
Have a great day. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Let me just stop recording.
Yeah, stop recording.
Oh, that was amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah?
No, that